The entire effort was to solidify our space in the community.
And dance was just like one very small part of it.
It just sparks joy. The dance, the people, they're smiling.
I saw their YouTube, I think it was the snow shoveling in the Peggy's Cove.
That's when we gave it a name, called Maritime Bhangra Group. We just started to shoot videos.
There's a great momentum that they generate.
We never performed in front of such a big crowd, so it was a life-changing experience.
Hasmeet just is constantly moving forward.
He wants to be a change maker.
My name is Hasmeet Singh, and here I am.
My name is Hasmeet Singh Chandok. I graduated from DAL for my Master's in Computer Science. I grew up in a city called Ludhiana in India. Back home, I would say until 5 years ago, Canada is Toronto and Vancouver. That's the definition of Canada. All I knew was there's a lot of snow, and then there is Toronto and Vancouver. These are the three things I knew. I was looking for universities. I looked at DAL, and then I started looking at the geography and statistics on the population and everything. And then I learned about how polite and how accepting the people on East Coast are, especially coming from a country which is so highly populated. That's what I think was my major attraction for Nova Scotia.
Once settled in Halifax and noticing the lack of representation among the Sikh community in the Atlantic provinces, Hasmeet set out to share the values of his culture with the people of Nova Scotia.
It was a bit hard initially, especially being only 3 or 4 students in the whole city with a turban and beard. So we started with first organization for Sikh students. So Sikhism is the religion I follow, because there was no organization like that in the whole Atlantic Canada. So we started the first Sikh student association in Atlantic Canada.
My name is Ahmed Mallah. I am from Halifax, Nova Scotia. I have been a resident here since December 2016. I met Hasmeet in 2017. I was observing from a distance as a non-Sikh member, but I have seen the involvement that Hasmeet have done to represent his Sikh community, to represent his values, the values of his communities about selfless love, selfless giving, sharing.
And dance was just like one very small part of it. Other part of it was more of awareness, doing street campaigns and everything.
I don't know how he had the time for all of that, but he was the person where you see him all over campus, just having that representation for marginalized students and beyond.
I am writing up Hasmeet's speech title. Desire to become more. And then I'm also going to write the word of the day. And the word of the day today is kind of related to desire to become more. It's aspire. My name is Sarah Greening, and I have a PhD in chemistry from Dalhousie University. I first met Hasmeet through DAL Toastmasters. The slogan of Toastmasters is where leaders are made. And I personally have become a leader through Toastmasters, and I've met some fantastic friends through Toastmasters as well.
To become more. My name is Hasmeet Singh, and it's a pleasure to be here speaking with all of you this evening.
So he just happened to attend one of our meetings, and we've been friends ever since. Hasmeet's one of those people that even just meeting you for a brief second can somehow see the whole picture of who you are and be able to then translate that to you to help you uncover who you are and move forward.
I met somebody who went through the pain of years of war and uncertain future, but still had a great smile on his face. He was in this country with a desire to become more. He desired to become someone who can change lives of others for better. And if I can humbly request all of you to clap for my friend Ahmed, who is here with us today.
You know, like sometimes when you are in a low moment and you doubt things in life, maybe, and you start to have questions about what you do, about life, about people, about the world, and then you meet Hasmeet, or you call Hasmeet, and you start to lose these doubts and to have certainty with hope about the future and about humanity.
There's a lot I've loved about Toastmasters, but I think it gives you that motivation that, you know, one day you're gonna do something bigger than what you have been thinking about. And when people say dream bigger or, you know, desire to become more, those are not just words. If you really try to do that, you can eventually get anywhere in the world if you really work hard for it.
Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Action. Cameraman ready?
Yes.
Action.
And at some point after a year or two, we thought, you know, how about we just separate the dance thing from the religious awareness thing? And that's when we gave it a name called Maritime Bhangra Group, and we just started to shoot videos going around at different locations in the city. It's a traditional dance, but West Punjab is a very agricultural province. So this dance was done as a celebration after harvesting the crops. And it has always been associated with happiness. Anybody living in that province had this dance as a part of their celebration.
It just sparks joy. Like the dance, the people, they're smiling.
You know, once I danced with them on stage, and I discovered that I have no dancing move, but I enjoyed dancing with them a lot. It brings me joy, regardless how messed up my dance was.
The entire effort was to solidify our space in the community. All the dances were done outdoors, where people are stopping by, asking about dance, asking about turban, asking about the culture. People were getting to know that we exist, and we would like to exist in a very similar wavelength as them. We would like to contribute to the society. Not just taxes, we would like to fundraise, we would like to know the local issues, we would like to become the voice of the people who may not have a voice themselves.
They started on a smaller circle, and then it started to expand and expand.
I reached out to them and just said, would you be interested in a documentary?
We just opened the Facebook within a few hours, and we have thousands of shares. And
They started on a smaller circle with the Sikh community, and then it started to expand and expand.
And then eventually we did one on Peggy's Cove, and it took off, and since then we have never looked back.
we didn't even have a YouTube at that point. We just had a Facebook page and we just uploaded there, and we sort of forgot about it and started having tea at my brother's place, and here we go. We just opened the Facebook within a few hours, and we have thousands of shares, and we have people from all the news channels in Atlantic Canada contacting us, and that just kept on growing.
There you had something which was comforting, something people knew as locations, and then you had something new which was colorful and sparkling, but something they didn't understand as language. But at the end of the day, it was theirs, it was Maritime's. They felt the love out of it. They understood that, we were trying to do something to become part of the society.
So after the first video, every video we made was supposed to fundraise for a certain charity, either in Atlantic Canada or outside Atlantic Canada.
So as soon as the Peggy's Cove video became famous, my co-founder and I had a conversation thinking, what can we do out of this which would be good for the community? Because we didn't know how big it's gonna become, right?
And then we started on taking live events. We started to give on licenses for our videos, and but everything which was being done under the banner of MBG, the Maritime Bhangra Group, it was done for charity. And Nobody in the team was being paid. Everybody worked as a volunteer from that day until today.
You can see it very evidently manifested in the way that they perform, in the way that they spread joy.
They get invited to various charity events where they will perform and then collect donations and money for whatever charity that they're working with.
So a big part of our performances, which many people don't know, is we always do a speech first. We do a 5 to 10 minute speech depending on what sort of circumstances are, of telling people why do we do this and the money they're gonna pay us, where that money is gonna go.
Through their efforts, the Maritime Bhangra Group has raised awareness and over $300,000 in funds for an endless amount of causes, such as ALS, Black Lives Matter, Canadian Cancer Society, Feed Nova Scotia, and the Humboldt Broncos, just to name a few.
My name's Nance Ackerman, and I'm a documentary filmmaker. Well, I met Hasmeet, I think like everybody met them through the viral videos. And right in that time when everybody just needed joy in their lives, and I saw their YouTube, I think it was the snow shoveling in the Peggy's Cove and everything, and I reached out to them and just said, would you be interested in a documentary? Because I just knew that there was something behind the scenes of why they did what they did. You know, culturally, the idea of service for the Sikh culture, and just this idea of being sort of parachuted into a community that wasn't used to seeing people that looked like them, fascinated me. And also the connection to, I've got Mohawk heritage. There's so many similarities, the power of family and the power of community, and between the two cultures. I just felt that we could explore that together.
We were visiting Lennox Island. It's an indigenous community very close to PEI, and we were talking and then eventually dancing with the indigenous dancers and realizing how our culture and their culture is so similar, be it when it comes to water, be it when it comes to land, be it when it comes to having long hair and having a religious or spiritual importance to that. And I was shocked to see when they put on that clip by itself, blew up and had millions and millions of views.
They were all so blown away. It was really a bonding moment, and everything that happened that day in that part in the film was very natural and it just happened. That's what's so great about Hasmeet and Maritime Bhangra, is that they spend all that time looking for those similarities, looking for that common ground.
By connecting through similarities, Hasmeet and the Maritime Bhangra Group have found a unique approach to activism, which focuses on bringing people together rather than splitting them apart.
Joy is a tool, actually, to bring positive outcomes, and anger sometimes is not the only answer for certain issues that we see in society.
So the way people have looked at activism is anger, rudeness or harsh comments, or a place of conversation where one party would be offended, highly likely.
That's the problem activism can be in these echo chambers of people that agree with you.
Here you are coming up and saying, you know what, we'll all be happy and we'll do activism. And everybody's like, what? You were missing on marginalized groups, you were missing on introverts. Because introverts cannot participate in that. In my mind, we had to come up with something where everybody could participate, right?
The way they do it, they cross all kinds of culture and attitude and politics and socioeconomic.
So it's definitely a unique approach that he is taking, and we need more of that.
I understand joyful activism is not a new concept which we came up with, but we just came up with our own form of it.
And I think it's growing. I think he's getting some great response from joyful activism. It's starting to weave its way into curriculum, and
It's amazing, and sometimes you're like, I don't know how that happened, because everybody comes to you and say, how did this happen? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. We were just doing our work, that's it.
And there is a great momentum that they generate, whether socially or financially, by supporting just causes. And I think that's really super empowering and super encouraging to see this sort of activism gaining momentum in the Atlantic and even national-wide.
You know, activism takes years and years to change one policy. So you have to have that balance with joy and activism. Yeah.
We never performed in front of such a big crowd.
I honestly think they were in that hotel room going, what are we doing here?
You look around and you think, should I be given this much importance?
So for Canada's 150, the Maritime Bhangra Group got invited to perform on Parliament Hill in front of the Prime Minister of Canada and also the now King of England. And they got to talk about what it is that they do with the Bhangra Group.
The Canada 150 was an amazing opportunity for them. I honestly think they were in that hotel room going, what are we doing here?
Hundreds of thousands of people on the ground, and you had the Prime Minister speak, and you know, all of these people from royal family and whatnot, and then you are there speaking up when your status in this country is you are just on a student visa. You look around and you think, should I be given this much importance? Eventually you start to realize this is not importance, this is more of a responsibility where now you have to go back and do even more.
We never performed in front of such a big crowd. I mean, and I never spoke in front of like a few 100,000 people at the same point. So it was a life-changing experience.
The traveling through dancing also gives you a view of the issues in our different communities all around the country.
You have to go out in your community, listen to your community, and see what they need and help them and support them and give them tools to help themselves.
30% of my speech was about the First Nation and Indigenous and the meeting communities and what sort of issues they have and the suicides we are having with the young community members and how we all need to step in. It's not an Indigenous problem, it's a Canadian problem. I think being able to give those messages and being able to perform twice on the same day was something we consider ourselves very lucky.
The impact that they have is not only reserved to the province or to Nova Scotia by itself, but also we see that impact nationally by the things that now the Maritime Bhangra groups advocate for, the causes that they do. It's no longer that bubble in Nova Scotia only.
Hasmeet just is constantly moving forward.
He definitely have taken multiple steps ahead, I think, for making a greater impact on an international level. And I think one of these steps was the visit to Washington, D.C. and learning more about policy making.
I can't believe that you came here tonight, Hasmeet. It's been great having you speak. And I'm looking forward to hearing about the trip to D.C. that we haven't actually heard a lot about yet.
The idea was to take 30 young leaders from Canada to states to have them learn about policy and how policy is made and how they can impact the policy. We had people come in to train us who have actually changed laws, who have actually lobbied to change laws in states. And they were there to train us in terms of if there is something we see in our society which needs to change, what are the methods we can use, starting from, you know, the communication skills to the things like protests and, you know, how do you talk to media and this and that. Funny enough, I have no education in policy. My entire education is on technology.
You know, when you get picked for something that special that you get there and think, oh, yikes, I don't have the exact experience that everybody does. But his experience brought something to the table that I think they must have really valued and understood that it was the time to hear from this community.
We were talking about issues like privacy and surveillance and housing. So it was a 7-day-long policy fellowship. Me being a technologist and someone who takes a lot of interest in privacy and surveillance, I was focusing on that. It's not easy to understand when we live in a city, but if you travel to faraway distance, you could see how having access to a very slow internet can actually change your life choices. Can you do research? Can you do PhD if you are in such an environment? Would you be able to research all the political aspects of the society if you have such... So your life choices and your life would drastically change if you don't have access to
a high-speed internet, which we have in the city.
Wow. And we take it for granted.
Yeah, same thing with privacy standards.
It's really interesting to see how someone who had no background in policy got involved in these things through dance troupe, and now from Parliament Hill to Washington DC and meeting all these officials and trying to understand, be it the trade desk between Canada and US, be it any sort of other policies we are working on together. So, like I always say, I owe it to the people of this country and especially to people of Nova Scotia for giving me this chance to actually understand these issues better and work on them.
So after this trip, what's next in your journey?
The more I learn about policy, I used to feel like this is a very far away topic for us as technologists to learn and to actually do anything about it. Yes, we have been doing a lot of policy work through the dance troupe, but to actually meet the bureaucrats who are changing it and getting a validation from them saying what you guys are doing is policy stuff. I think the next step for that was working with the same think tank. I am doing a tech policy course to see where Canada stands in terms of policies around surveillance, around privacy, around access to broadband, and as a human right, and so all of those tech policy aspects in this country.
Thank you again, Hasmeet, for coming out tonight. Every time I meet you, I always learn something from you, and I'm always more inspired. And there's a lot of folks in our club that can be inspired by you.
Like us, inspired by you every single time.
It's amazing how the group of friends you have at university have now taken on the world in a very positive manner and changing the world for better.
He wants to be a change maker, and he's getting there, and people are recognizing that he's capable of it, and people are drawn to him.
To be honest, Hasmeet is the only person that I would trust with no limits. I think if there is a person that I would love to see he is going far and beyond with low limits, it would be Hasmeet.
Hasmeet hasn't reached his full potential yet. He still has so much more to give.
He has a plan to create change through joy and connection, and I think he's going to do it. You mark my words, give him 5-10 years, and he will be in a position of making that happen in a big way in this country.
Who the heck am I, right? I was just another person who came on a visa thinking I'll get better education. This is what Canadians did for me, so I have to give back.
In 2021, Hasmeet became a permanent resident of Canada. Calling Nova Scotia home, he continues to advocate for underrepresented groups, bringing community issues to the forefront and raising awareness to benefit the greater good of the entire country.
He found a community here, and I think he really values that, treasures it, covets it.
To keep Canada as one of those destinations where we can get highly skilled people, we have to make sure we are feeding the country with emotions, with values from diverse backgrounds, but we are making sure this place stays as attractive.
It's a beautiful thing when you see people from different backgrounds, ethnicities, countries and communities are coming to live in this peaceful land and to build it together to have a better future for all. All this myth about differences that we feared one another for, it is being dismantled in coexistence and love and harmony. And I have seen that as a reality here in Halifax and in Nova Scotia.
I love Nova Scotia and I love Canada, and I'll do my best to make things better for everybody. This is where my heart is, I'd say. This is home for me. My name is Hasmeet Singh, and here I am.